Good morning, students. Today we start with our new topic, right? In our previous topic, I have told you about use of scale, right? And the three types of scale that I have told you, right? Verbal, linear, and representative fraction scale. And I have told you about how to use that scale, means measuring with the help of scale, measuring with the help of curve, if it is in curve, and with the help of thread that I have told you, right? And I have told you about topographic sheets also, right? So today is I told you about last topic of this chapter, that is conventional signs and symbols on the map, right? What's the use of these conventional signs and symbols on the map is, as you know that a map is very limited with the space, right? We don't have a lot of space on the map, so a map is very limited with the space. So what we are going to do here is that we should get a proper space on the map, then it is possible to write everything. But due to shortage of map, because a map is very made with limited paper or with limited it has limitations, so what we do is we use some conventional signs and symbols so that you can easily locate various things on the map, right? Because it's not possible to write each and everything on the map, so we use these conventional signs and symbols on the map, right? So they are not of a particular one thing, that of only one thing that we have conventional signs and symbols. We have lots of signs and symbols which are accepted internationally and they are agreed internationally, so we can use those symbols in any map and we can read it anywhere in any part of the world. So here I will tell you in detail about these conventional signs and symbols. So we have various categories of those symbols, right? So today we have the 7 categories. First is physical signs and symbols, drainage signs and symbols, vegetations that we have, settlements that we have, communications and latitudes and longitudes, boundaries that we have, right? So these were the different categories that we have. First that I told you is a physical category, that is having the contour lines. But what it is having? It is having the contour lines. So through contour lines, what we are going to do here is, like I told you in the previous class also about contour lines. So contour lines are lines which are drawn like this, right? So these were drawn like this. So what they actually tell you, those contour lines will tell you about height. Means that particular place is up to how much height from the sea level. Means that place, means the height of that place from the sea level is how much, right? So that is given to us by the contour lines, right? So for the heights, they will tell you about in physical map through the contour lines, right? Got it? So through height, they will tell you, means this contour line tells us that this place is up to how much height, means whether it's a hill, plateau, or a particular place. And you have seen this heights on some map, in physical map. And if you read about some topographical map or the physical maps, right, about you are reading about the mountains and physical features of the particular place. So there in mountain and plateau regions, in those maps you will see those lines there, right? So I'll tell you an example. Through an example, I'll tell you. So here you are seeing this map. So you are seeing some lines over here, right? So these lines which were drawn here and these lines, so those were the contour lines, right? So those are the contour lines there, and yes. And next we have the drainage lines. Drainage means what the physical and human-made features are, right? Physical and human-made features are those drainage lines. Those two drainage symbols we can tell us about those symbols. Like suppose that if there is at a place there is temple is made, so they will make a symbol like this, right? And suppose if there is a mosque there, so they will make like this, right? And they will make like this, right? If there is a church at a particular place, so they will make a symbol like this, right? No problem in that. Okay, and if there were some physical features like mountains or some drainage basins or there, so they will tell you about through the latitudes like this. So through this, they will tell you about the slopes and all those things, right? So through drainage symbols, we get these things there, right? Yes, don't worry about it. I'll send you all the symbols, right? You can watch those symbols there and you can read them, and you have to make those symbols in a notebook, right? Yes, I'll send you all the symbols. Don't problem there. Next is vegetation, right? What vegetation is? Vegetation is basically shown with the green color. Like we have the forest belts, we have the forest belts that we have, it is shown with the green color, and then we have the mountainous vegetation And we have some farmlands also, right? That is shown with the yellow color there. Yes, we have some land which is farmland, and if at a place there is nothing there, no vegetation there, it is a stony place and it is of no use, then that place is shown with the yellow color. So those were the signs and symbols that we are using, and this vegetation symbol is used with green color. Green color means having vegetation, trees, and all those things. Green colors. Yellow means farmlands, and white color they will use for what? Yes, they are using those white colors for the barren land, and they will use the blue color for the watery places, right? So this is the color. Yes, the symbol is basically with the color. So if you see the green color, that means there is a vegetation there. Yellow color, that means it is a farmland. White, the rocky sphere, or this land is of no use, and means no one is using that land. And blue one, that means there is water. Next we have settlements there, like PO, PTOs, PS, and those statements were given there. So about the settlements, at that particular place. So they will use those symbols there in a square grid box like this. They will use that symbol in a square grid box, and they will write this like this. Okay. Then we have the communications, right? So here we have different types of communications that we are using. Suppose they are using for roadways. Roadways we have metal road, okay, unmetal road, okay, and then we have we have metal road, unmetal road that we have, and then we have some local roads also. So different symbols are used for the roads, and when it is in darkest position, that means it is in metal road, and when it is in braking position, that means it is unmetal road or kacha road that we have. Okay, and it's also used for railways. For railways, we use symbols like this. Okay, so this symbol is being used for railways also. And for if you talk about telephone lines, then they will use the symbols like this. Okay, so for different communications, like for telephone lines, for metal roads, for railways, they have the symbols. Right. Next is about the latitudes and longitudes. So that I told you in detail. So what in latitude and longitudes they used to do is, you have seen a map with the intersection of lines, right? That I told you in previous class, and you have seen some maps which have the intersection of lines like this. Okay, have you got it? So with those lines, means those are latitude and longitude lines that they are giving there. So as per that, what is most of the maps have these grid lines. What they are of use, means they will tell you the actual position of a particular place globally. Means on globe, what is the particular latitudinal and longitudinal. Means this particular grid is made with the intersection of latitude and longitude, and they have a particular value. On that value, they will show you that particular place. Why this is being used? Because you don't have the clashes. Suppose if I teach a student here, and someone else is teaching there in Germany, someone else is teaching in some other places. If this latitude lines we are not taught, then what will happen? If those students will meet at a place, then they will have clashes. That sir, my sir has told you this India is here, but you are telling me India is here. So this grid lines will help us that at this particular point, like India have its main center point at 8230 east, right? As you know, India has its center point at 8230 east, starts from 62 and up above 90, right? Latitude. That it starts from 62 and ending there up to 90. So this is the extent of India. So through these lines, we locate a particular place at a particular latitudinal and longitudinal extent. So this particular grid is made with that. Like suppose here I am making with, like this is we are making with west. This is east. This is north position. This is south position, and I will make a map here. Yes, I tried. I'm not a cartographer, so I will make it exactly. I tried it. So this is how you can see this intersection of lines in this map is made at a particular extent. So for this thing, latitude and longitude lines, grid lines, intersection of grid lines is being given there. Next we have boundaries. Yes, it is an important tool. While reading a map, you should know about the boundaries in a map. Different boundaries are made with the different symbols. If it is made with the like boundary symbol is like this, and it is having the dots in between. Okay. So we have these three types of boundaries. If it is made with dark color, right, dark black color, that means that, and it is a longer one, that means it is a international boundary, right? If it is made with shorter one, that means that is a yes, a state boundary between the boundary between two states. This is international boundary means the boundary between two countries and this state boundary. And third, we have the district boundaries, that is made shortly with the points. Okay, means the dots are made like this for the districts. Like, okay, so I think you got those international symbols, and I'll send you more symbols so that you could type those symbols in your notebook. That's all for today. Thank you.